bit of a dream come true for me. I'm a bit of a 60s and 70s TV nut. I sort of collect 60s and 70s TV memorabilia. So I'm a big Doctor Who fan. And so to meet a Doctor Who in person and work with him, I remember I was some sort of a scarecrow character and literally outstanding in a field with a whole lot of vegetables. And I was young and fresh out of drum school, so to be in a British production was fabulous. I played the sort of the Fonz type character. He was the local town hood, and they put me on a 1952 Triumph Tiger 10 motorcycle, which was a pig of a thing. They put me on it one day in the cemetery set, which was on the slope of a hill, and it was frosty, wet grass, and I had road tyres on, and had an actress on the back of the bike from the series, and had to ride along the slope towards the camera. And of course, we were going along, and the bike just slid out. Thankfully, the actress on the back was safe. She went off the back. I sort of carried on for a while, and the bike left me behind, and basically said towards the camera head and the sound cart, and the cameraman and the sound guy just abandoned everything, and the bike took out everything, the camera, but they were still rolling. And so for years afterwards, that footage was on the Avalon bloopers Christmas tape. That was my first taste of political satire on TV, and also impersonation, for want of a better word. Because they'd ring me up and they'd say, Mark, we'd like you to have a crack at Richard Hadley or Bruno Lawrence or whoever I was doing. It was in the days before digital technology, so we'd get cassettes of these people and have to sit there for hours trying to pick the nuance of these various people's voices, and then go into a recording studio and down there and lay the tracks down for the puppets. It was a family sitcom. I don't think it was really the best vehicle for Billy's talents. We had Lona Rogers and Mark Hadlow, and back then it was certainly the early days of Television New Zealand sitcoms. I'm not sure whether we've cracked that family sitcom nut yet. If you're a newsreader, genuinely you don't speak like Jimmy Stewart or John Wayne. You know, that's why you wouldn't get the job. So there wasn't a lot to latch onto with Richard, except his head movements, which I just exaggerated, blew out of proportions. I remember when I first met Richard at TVNZ, he was a big fan of the show, and he gave me a guided tour of the newsroom and everything, and we became quite good friends. But rumour has it that when Richard left TVNZ at his farewell function, they presented him with a framed photograph of me as him. Yeah, he certainly took it in good spirits. Willie DeWitt and myself formed the Mean Team, where we used to lampoon sports people. I remember one episode, John Olomu had just got married and not invited his mother to the wedding, and so he was getting a bit of a hard time about that, and believe it or not, they made me up to look like Jonah, so much so that he was actually supposed to be overseas with the All Blacks. Well, he was overseas with the All Blacks at the time, if I remember correctly. And the phone log at TVNZ, a lot of people rang up and said, why have you brought Jonah back to interview him? Which was the highest compliment. Shortland Street was fleeting. I played the temporary head of nursing. Gary, I think his name was. Interesting storyline, because this temporary head of nursing was moonlighting as a child's entertainer for birthday parties, and he was some penguin, and so he was nipping off from Shortland Street to do birthday parties as this singing, dancing penguin, and yeah, he ended up getting fired. I got to work with Dave McPhail again. He played the granddad and I played the father of Captain Extraordinary. I played the original Captain X, and my powers had been passed down to my son. Yeah, and it just had that real number 8 wire sort of feel. I remember David's character, you know, he literally had old jockey Y-front, you know, as part of his superhero costume, and you know, an old, I think it was an old army surplus utility belt, and yeah, it was good contemporary New Zealand kidult comedy. I thought that was a fantastic piece of work, and it just showed that we can produce that sort of contemporary crime drama set here, and with such a great writing team and a core cast, and then the likes of Oscar and Sam, of course, attract very high level of people who are prepared to be involved, whether large or small. And so in the cameo roles, again, you had this great breadth of very experienced, very talented Kiwi actors. So just an opportunity to be involved in some way in a great piece. A reboot or whatever of the original series. But I had a guest cameo role as a Serbian crime boss, I think. Again, huge following, and I have children who are huge What Now and Shortland Street fans and all that sort of thing, but I get no kudos because I'm not on it now, and so they don't care about that. But they've had so much feedback from their peers in the playground about, oh, your dad's on Terry Teo. So finally I've got some mana in the house. I'm very much, was for a long time, typecast as funny, wacky, zany comedian guy. Even though I'm a classically trained theatre actor, you make a name for yourself, and sometimes you can't get auditions. I've had said to me that you're too well known as a funny man for a dramatic role, which I always find is an interesting slant. I sort of think it's like telling Tom Hanks that he was just too funny in Forrest Gump to do Saving Private Ryan. or Bobby Coltrane, or Billy Connolly, and Billy T. Yeah, but I've certainly enjoyed it. It's been a great ride so far, and I hope it's not over yet.